My name is Rosalie Wilkerson, and I am a senior at Holton High School. I'm an only child in a Catholic family. I know that as a label is an oxymoron. It's amazing how parents and grandparents can forget you're the only one. My parents bought me a teeter-totter for my 8th birthday. Who buys a teeter-totter for an only child? I have shelves full of board games that I've received for Christmases and birthdays that have rarely ever been played. Even checkers requires a second player. When my parents would take me on vacation, I used to say, I wonder who my new best friend will be when I get there. I had an uncanny ability as a young child to be able to walk right up to other children, introduce myself, and become their best friends within a few minutes. The impact of being an only has been an experience that I don't plan to replicate. I love children and big families. I feel completely at home helping in a classroom full of kids. Ever since the 8th grade, I have volunteered at every opportunity in my church and school to help with elementary school children. From being a youth counselor for Totus Tuus to teaching a CCD class. I understand that my talent is working with children and that God placed me in a family as an only child so that I would understand that I was part of a much bigger family that includes my church and my community. This year, my school recently took in some Guatemalan refugees who had to leave their homes and move to Holton, Kansas because of drug wars. Many of them had been separated from their families and friends for years. These kids had come to my school with no English, and for some, no schooling whatsoever. I could tell that they were having a hard time adjusting, so I asked my Spanish teacher if there's anything I could do to help. She told me that I could come in during my study hall time and help them with English. After I took the initiative to help these kids, many other kids from my school offered to help as well. Now Carlos, Pedro, Cruz, Tomas, and Manuela don't feel so excluded from the rest of the school. I have become a better leader in my church and at school, but that is because I learned my lesson the hard way. Last year, my spirit squad is planning a slumber party with the new freshmen. I was in charge of all the arrangements. Our squad made a list to decide what each person would bring. It was all so easy. All I had to do was assign the items and wait for the day we'd kidnap the freshmen for the slumber party. I didn't give the party another thought. The day of the party, 1/3 of our squad didn't even show up. 2 of the girls who didn't come were in charge of bringing drinks and snacks. I had also forgotten to call the mothers of the freshmen to let them know about the slumber party and the dates. So needless to say, most of them couldn't attend at the last minute. My team was upset with me since it had been my job to make sure the party was organized. It hadn't occurred to me to call my team members to make sure they are coming or see whether they needed help. I felt I had failed as a team leader, so my spirit squad later forgave me and we were able to plan an even better party later in the school year. However, I learned some valuable lessons. A good team leader keeps in contact with their team. Leaders make sure team members are moving forward in their assignments and offer help or suggestions. Finally, I would like to be considered for membership in the Gregorian Fellows Leadership Program. I have experience working with students from backgrounds different from my own and making them feel included. I can now successfully organize and plan a party, and I own a lot of board games that require 4 to 6 players. Thank you for your consideration.